This week's 1044 is brought to you by Chevron 600 ADF Ultra Low Ash Diesel Engine Oil. It's time to kick some ash.
With U.S. highway fatality numbers climbing, how artificial intelligence can help reverse that trend.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 1044, a weekly webisode from the editors here at CCJ. I'm Jason Cannon and my co-host on the other side is Matt Cole. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reported in early November that highway fatalities for the first half of 2021 were estimated to be the highest for the first 6 months of the year since 2006. Later in the month, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration released its updated large truck and bus crash facts covering crashes through 2019, which showed a slight increase in truck-involved fatalities for the previous year.
With fatal crashes on the rise, there are efforts to improve safety in all vehicles to try to reverse the trend. One avenue being used is artificial intelligence technology to help aid drivers in making safe decisions on the road. I spoke with Chris Pichet, founder and CEO of AI camera manufacturer Smarter AI, about how artificial intelligence, specifically AI cameras, can help improve driving behaviors and reduce crashes.
I founded Smarter AI because there was an opportunity with AI and machine learning technologies to transform cameras. And so cameras that previously operated as passive display or recording devices, now thanks to enabling technologies like AI, can be active devices that understand the environments that they're operating in and what's happening around them. This has many applications, including, of course, in transportation.
Increasing crash numbers can be attributed to a number of different variables, but Chris says using vehicle sensors, cameras, and more can help build data that AI then uses to help drivers on the road. But before we hear more from Chris, let's hear from 1044 sponsor Chevron Lubricants. Protecting your diesel engine and its after-treatment system has traditionally been a double-edged sword. The same engine oil that is so essential to protecting your engine's internal parts is also responsible for 90% of the ash that is clogging up your DPF and upping your fuel and maintenance costs. Outdated industry thinking still sees a trade-off between engine and emission system protection, and Chevron was tired of it. So they spent a decade of R&D developing a no-compromise formulation. Chevron Lubricants developed a new ultra-low ash diesel engine oil that is specifically designed to combat DPF ash clogging. 600 ADF with OmniMax technology cuts sulfate ash by a whopping 60%, which reduces the rate of DPF clogging and extends DPF service life by 2.5 times. And just think what you can do with all the MPGs you're going to add from cutting your number of regens. But 600 ADF isn't just about aftertreatment. It provides complete protection, extending drain intervals by preventing oil breakdown. Before you had to choose between protecting your engine or your aftertreatment system, and now you don't. 600 ADF from Delo with OmniMax technology, it's time to kick some ash.
Traffic accidents and fatalities are up in the United States and around the world. There are a number of reasons for this. For example, distracted driving, complacent driving, and also a growing number of inexperienced drivers on the road. Distracted driving, we're all, of course, familiar with the problem of texting and driving. Complacent driving, thanks to certain certain technologies, driver assistance technologies. Most people will be familiar with Tesla Autopilot. There are some people who are, over-relying on those driver assistance technologies and, operating their vehicles in a complacent manner. And then thanks to the growth in e-commerce and thanks to the growth of ride sharing, we now have more inexperienced commercial drivers on the road than ever before. So those are some of the reasons why we're seeing the uptick in accidents and in fatalities. Now, what can we do about this with AI? Well, thanks to AI video telematics, we're now able to combine, in-vehicle sensors, in-vehicle cameras with AI to understand in real time, what's happening both inside and around a vehicle. And we can use this information in a number of ways to make the roads more safe. So in real time, we can play a message for the driver of the vehicle, for example, reminding the driver to keep their eyes on the road, that sort of thing. We can also use this information in near real time to evaluate, let's say a driver profile. For example, a driver might have a profile where in general they're driving very safely, but if they maybe have a habit of taking their eyes off the road or some other habit, this is something that can be brought to their attention and coached up. And then finally, we can use this information, when it comes to, smart cities and urban planning to identify maybe, roads or intersections that are not as safe as they could be, to use this information to improve the roads over time.
Smarter AI's cameras, which are both road and driver facing, use what Chris calls sensor fusion to understand both driver behavior and what is happening with and around the truck. Fleets who utilize the cameras have control over how they want to deploy them in their trucks.
So smarter AI cameras are software defined, and they support something called sensor fusion. The smarter AI cameras can be deployed for different use cases, and they can be deployed in a way that let's say is context aware. Texting, sitting in a vehicle which is parked and doing some texting or operating a phone or a tablet, this is a perfectly normal and in most cases probably a perfectly safe behavior for a delivery driver. On the other hand, looking down at your phone or tablet while your vehicle is traveling 60 miles an hour on the highway, not such a safe behavior. So thanks to sensor fusion, smarter AI is able to understand not only what is the driver behavior, but also what's happening in terms of maybe the location or the speed or the acceleration of the vehicle, and also to understand what's happening around the vehicle. So to provide a very high precision in terms of the AI, so that our customers can make have trusted data and make trusted decisions. One of the great things about our cameras is that they are software defined. So this is just a fancy way of saying that it's up to each customer to decide, what sort of AI they want to deploy with our cameras and how they want to deploy it. So in the same way that you and I, we have smartphones, and we can decide which apps we want to download and use on our phones, and we can decide how we want to use those apps. It's the same idea. However, in most cases, customers are going to use our cameras to understand unsafe driving behaviors, and customers have the ability to play a message, an audio message, inside of the vehicle cabin whenever an unsafe behavior is detected, to remind the driver in real time to drive the vehicle more safely, let's say.
Smarter AI's cameras will create event notifications when something happens in a truck, which will alert the driver, as well as the fleet manager or safety manager in the back office in real time.
So our system has the concept of event notifications. So once a customer decides what sort of AI they're interested in deploying, our cameras will generate these event notifications whenever a corresponding event is detected. And those event notifications can be used, as I mentioned a moment ago, to play a message in the cabin of the camera. Those event notifications can also be delivered to a fleet manager in real time. And the event notifications can also be used in the aggregate, so to form a sort of a profile of a particular driver or a particular vehicle. Maybe one driver has a habit of texting and driving a little bit too much, and maybe another driver has another bad habit. By aggregating all these event notifications over time, a fleet manager can use this, form these profiles and use this information to help their drivers to be more safe.
The cameras can also be used as driver training tools as they build driver profiles over time. The longer the system is in a truck with a certain driver, the more data it has to build the profile, which can show the fleet any areas where the driver may need additional coaching when it comes to driving behaviors. This
is something that's happening continuously. So the event notifications themselves, those happen in real time, so less than 1 second. And then I guess in terms of profiles, that's something where you can get a profile from a really short duration, from an hour or a day or a shift or something like that. But of course, over time, as the system has more data, the profile should become more and more accurate. And also the profile can identify more trends if we have data from a longer period of time.
In the event that an accident does occur, the camera can also be used for accident reconstruction to help a fleet prove their innocence or help determine how they want to proceed legally following a crash.
With our cameras, the fleet operators have the ability to record either on the camera, in the cloud, or both. All of the video, all of the sensor data, including any video or sensor data that would correspond to an accident or another incident involving their vehicles. And that data can be used to, let's say, exonerate a driver or exonerate the company in cases where that makes sense.
That's it for this week's 1044. You can read more on ccjdigital.com, and as always, you can find the 1044 each week on CCJ's YouTube channel. And if you've got questions, comments, criticisms, or feedback, please hit us up at 1044trucking@gmail.com or give us a call at 404-491-1380. Until next week, everybody stay safe.